You just destroyed your own life." Those words left my mouth calm and steady, slicing through the air like a blade. Across the HOA boardroom, Vivian Hargrove's face turned white, then gray, then the color of spoiled milk. Her hand still raised and trembling pointed at me like a weapon that had just misfired. The room was silent except for the faint hum of cameras recording her downfall. But to understand how we got there, how a community meeting turned into a public execution, you need to go back to where this war began. It started on a quiet October morning, the kind that smells like pine and wet earth when the mist floats low over Clearwater Lake, and the world feels untouched. I was sitting on the dock with my coffee watching the sunrise curl through the fog. My grandfather built this lodge in 1968, every beam, every nail. After he died, I spent 8 years keeping it alive. That place was more than property. It was memory, legacy, peace. And that morning I thought peace still existed right up until the engines came, 7 of them. Deep growls, low and synchronized, rolling through the still air like a warning. I didn't move, just counted the crunch of gravel under their tires. Then the gate, my gate, swung open. Out stepped a woman who looked like she'd just left a courtroom-tailored gray suit, 10-inch heels, sunglasses at dawn. Vivian Hargrove, president of the Lakewood Estates HOA. Behind her came 6 others, one with a camera, another with a briefcase, all acting like they were storming a crime scene. "This property is in violation of Lakewood Estates environmental health regulations," she announced, voice loud enough to echo across the lake. I set my cup down slowly. "You're trespassing," I said. She smirked. "The access road you use belongs to the HOA. That gives us authority to control who comes and goes." I pulled out my phone, hit record. 5:47 a.m., October 12th. 7 individuals have entered private property without permission or warrant, I said clearly. "Would you like to repeat your statement for the record?" Her smile cracked. The man beside her stepped forward with a document. "Preliminary court notice," he said. I read it. Not a warrant, not an order, just a complaint. "You have no legal authority to be here," I told them. Then I dialed 911. Vivian froze. "You wouldn't dare." "Oh, I would." Before dispatch could even finish the sentence, she spun on her heels and marched back to her SUV. "You'll regret this, Ashford," she shouted. "You're alone out here. Nobody's going to help you." I watched her drive off, dust hanging in the cold morning air. That's when I saw the drone hovering above my property, black silent filming, and I knew this was far from over. 8 months earlier, she'd sent me the first letter, gold embossed logo, formal tone, the kind designed to make you feel small before you even open it. "Your property does not comply with community aesthetic guidelines." The absurdity was almost funny. My lodge sat 200 meters outside their jurisdiction. But I didn't laugh. I went to the county library, dug through land records, and found the easement deed signed in 1973. It granted me perpetual access long before Lakewood Estates even existed. I made copies, backups of backups. I was ready for war before she even knew it started. But readiness doesn't stop loneliness. Over the next months, she sent 12 more letters. Then came the smear campaign, posts on the community forum showing my lodge with a fake drainage pipe accusing me of polluting the lake. Comments piled up. Neighbors I'd helped fix docks for were suddenly calling me a threat to our children's safety. The farmer's market stopped serving me. The bakery turned away. Even the hardware store clerk who'd once called me friend couldn't meet my eyes. I started wondering if maybe I was the problem. Maybe I was too stubborn, too attached to something outdated. Maybe fighting wasn't worth it. That's the part nobody talks about the moment you start believing the enemy's story about you. The night I almost gave up, I sat on the dock in the dark, coffee gone cold, watching my reflection tremble in the water and thought, maybe I should just sell. But then I got a message. "We need to talk." Marlene Pritchard, HOA Vice President. 2 days later, I met with Celeste Brennan, a lawyer who'd made a career beating HOAs at their own game. I brought 4 boxes of evidence. She flipped through one folder and stopped, her eyes sharpening. "Vivian Hargrove," she said, "lost her law license 6 years ago. Fraud, forged signatures, embezzlement. Now she's using the HOA as her personal bank. That's when something in me reignited. This wasn't about property anymore, it was about justice. Celeste built the plan: injunction, defamation suit, financial audit. I installed cameras, motion sensors, signs that screamed 24-hour surveillance. Then I emailed every board member the spreadsheet showing exactly where their fees were going, $47,000, to a company called Hargrove Consulting LLC. No listed services. Within hours, my phone blew up. Marlene texted, "We need to talk. Tonight. Alone." The next morning I woke to find my truck tires deflated. Someone had been sneaking onto my property. That night, the cameras caught them, two figures in hoodies, cutting the chain on my gate, spray painting my private property sign in blood-red letters. One of them looked up just as the floodlight came on Ethan Hargrove, Vivian's son. When she showed up the next morning pretending to be horrified, I didn't say a word. I just held up my phone and played the video. Her face drained of color. "You have no proof that's my son," she stammered. "The sheriff will confirm it," I replied. "He's an adult, and he trespassed on my land." That same day I met Marlene at midnight by the boat launch. She handed me a USB drive, shaking. "She's been planning this for a year," she whispered. "Emails, contracts. She's already agreed to sell your lodge to a development company she owns 40% of. This was never about compliance. She wanted you gone." 2 weeks later, we were in court. The HOA claimed I was polluting the lake. Celeste presented lab results proving the water was cleaner than bottled. Then she played the video of the SUVs invading my property at dawn, followed by Ethan's vandalism footage. When the judge asked Fairchild Vivian's lawyer to explain why they entered my land without permission, he mumbled something about community outreach. The judge wasn't amused. I won. The court reaffirmed my easement and ordered the HOA to pay my legal fees. But as Vivian left, she looked over her shoulder and said, "You won today, but you haven't won the war." And she meant it. The next week I got hit with complaints, anonymous tips to every agency imaginable, unpermitted renovations, unsafe septic system, tax fraud. Each came with a fine and inspection fee. I spent over $2,000 proving innocence to departments that didn't care. It was death by paperwork. And still people avoided me like I was contagious. That's when I realized defense wasn't enough. It was time to go on offense. I called Jolene Berkshire, an investigative reporter who'd messaged me after the court case. She brought a camera crew. I showed her everything: letters, emails, photos, the contract Marlene gave me. "She's been stealing from the community," I told her, "using fear to hide fraud." The story aired on a Tuesday night. 18 minutes long. By Wednesday morning, 47,000 people had seen it. That same afternoon I got a call from a private investigator named Boone Callahan. "I've seen this pattern before," he said. "She buys through shell companies, flips properties using HOA pressure pockets the profits. Give me 2 weeks, I'll prove it." He did. When the next HOA meeting was announced, I knew what I had to do. That night, the community center was packed. Cameras, reporters, residents, some angry, some curious. Vivian sat at the front like a queen presiding over judgment. "We are here," she said, "to vote on restricting Mr. Ashford's easement rights for the safety of our community." I stood. "Mind if I respond?" She hesitated. 2 minutes. I connected my laptop to the projector. "I won't waste your time with speeches," I said. "Let's just look at facts. Slide 1. The original 1973 easement deed, my legal right. Slide 2, independent water tests, all clean. Slide 3, screenshots of her photoshopped images. Slide 4, video of her son vandalizing my property. Slide 5, email chain between her and a developer outlining plans to sell my lodge for $620,000. Slide 6, financial records, $47,000 to Hargrove Consulting LLC, her own company. The room went silent except for the faint hum of the projector. Then the murmurs began, people whispering, pulling out phones, snapping pictures. Vivian stood up, voice cracking. "You stole those documents. This is slander." Marlene rose beside her. "Vivian, is it true?" Vivian's composure shattered. "You people don't understand what it takes to run a community. That lodge is wasted on him. It could be something beautiful." The crowd erupted, not in applause, but in disbelief. Then someone shouted, "You've been stealing from us." Marlene turned to the board. I'm calling for an immediate vote to remove Vivian Hargrove as HOA president. 4 hands went up. Motion carried. Vivian stood frozen. When she finally spoke, her voice was small. I hope you're proud of yourself. I am, I said. She left the room, shaking, her empire collapsing behind her. Outside, police lights flashed quietly in the parking lot. Boone had already filed his report with the district attorney. A week later, charges were announced: embezzlement, fraud, property damage, harassment. Her own son testified against her. And just like that, the woman who once tried to take everything from me lost everything of her own. I didn't cheer. I didn't celebrate. I just sat on my dock that night, coffee in hand, the lake calm again, for the first time in a year. The gate stood open, the lamp in my window glowing steady. For once, there was nothing left to defend. In the end, it wasn't about winning. It was about standing up, because if you don't draw the line, someone else will erase it for you.